Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Terri. I'm a Philippine Travel Updates, but in this video, we'll talk about US travel requirements. Um, this video is more focused for balikbayans, former Filipinos, US citizens, dual citizens, yan mga green card holders. You guys watch my video entering the Philippines. Now you will be watching leaving the Philippines. So what is the requirements, the things that you must comply for your trip back to the US. I will also talk about the requirements for Filipinos on tourist visas. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. The main requirement, guys, if you are a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, is this: a negative test result requirement. Is that it, Jennifer? That's the main thing, guys. It's the plot of the story here. Yeah, it's not complicated for you since you are US citizens or legal permanent residents. So for the negative test requirement, it has to be taken within 24 hours. So it's not about the time when the result was released. The focus is, when did you get tested? When was the specimen collected? Kailan ka na swab? That is the counting of the 24 hours. And there are two types of COVID test results that you can choose from. That is accepted. You can choose either RT-PCR or antigen test. Jennifer, what's the difference? We'll talk about that soon. How about those who recently recovered from COVID? Sometimes you're still positive, although you are no longer contagious, you have no symptoms, blah blah blah. Yep, it still happens, but there's an option: documentation of recovery. You don't need to get tested again. So let's get into it. For the two types of tests, there is RT-PCR and antigen test. Jennifer, which one to choose? So RT-PCR is the gold standard test. It's more reliable, but it is expensive and the results take time. If you want a RT-PCR test result that can release your result within 6 hours, 12 hours, you might have to pay like 4,000 or 3,500 ganyan, guys. It is expensive if you want quick result. The prices ranges from 2,300 pesos and up, while another option is antigen test. Antigen test is less reliable, but it is cheap, fast, convenient. The results can be released within 30 minutes or an hour. The price ranges from 600 to 900 pesos. So Jennifer, what to choose? If I were you, I'd choose antigen test. It's cheaper and it's much more convenient. However, guys, if let's say you have a layover country, just make sure that your layover country has no specific requirement, huh? Anyways, these are your two options that's accepted in the US: RT-PCR or antigen test. When to get tested? As we mentioned a while ago, you must get tested within 24 hours before departure. So for example, your departure time is January 20, 4:30 a.m. You will get tested anytime after January 19, 6:30 a.m. So it has to be one day before, and it can even be the day on the day na, no, as long as you have your result. So flight time -1 and then departure time -2. I suggest to guys have an allowance of 2 hours. You don't really want to have an exact 24 hours talaga because there may be delays, no? You don't want na magkaroon ng delays and hindi na ma-accept yung negative test result. So I'm suggesting 2 hours allowance. While reminder for those coming from other parts of the country, for example, like me, I'm from Davao. If I'm going to the US, my flight would be Davao to Manila to US. So the counting of the 24 hours, you should base it on your Manila to US or Cebu to US flight, guys, ha? Don't count on domestic flight because that is not the basis po of your departure. It should be in Manila, or if you're flying from Cebu, Cebu. Okay? Next is where to get tested. You must get your test result. You must get tested with a DOH, Department of Health accredited laboratory. That is a requirement by the US. It cannot just be some laboratory. So there is a list for the accredited laboratories in the Philippines. Here is the list. I'll copy paste, or you can just Google DOH accredited labs. So for this one, this is the list, guys. As you can see, there is, let me make it bigger. So it shows you the region of the testing laboratory, right there. Region of the testing laboratory, the province, the city, the name of the facility, whether it's private or public. Yan, you can choose from. You can get tested in Manila or you can get tested in the province. So for example, if I would be traveling, yan, there's only one testing laboratory accredited in my city. If ako yung mag-travel, I might have to get tested pa in Davao City. So yan guys, you just check here on the list whether that laboratory is accredited by DOH. Now, testing laboratories, Jennifer, where do you suggest? So if you're flying with Philippine Airlines, you can avail their discounted tests for their passengers. So for example, their RT-PCR test result is 2,599. Results is released within 24 hours, while antigen test, which is a lot cheaper, is for 700 pesos with results released in 30 minutes. So it's your choice whether you get RT-PCR test or antigen test. To avail the PAL testing center, simply Google Philippine Airlines Testing Center and lalabas na yan. So let me show to you. I will show it to you, baby. Yan, Philippine Airline Testing Center. Click na and then first one that pops up. That's it. So yan guys, they have PAL testing centers all over the country. Meron ding sa Manila. These ones on the left are close to the airport. And they also have the list of accredited labs by DOH. So yan guys, for example, Visayas. You're in Visayas. Yan. And don't worry, if you're not flying with Philippine Airlines, you still can get tested from these labs, guys. Ha? Okay lang po kasi private naman ito talaga. These are not owned by Philippine Airlines. Okay? They are also in Manila. These ones are close to the airport. Very convenient. Yan. You just have to fill up the form. Okay po. You have to have a QR code before you go there. There's a process here. I will not explain it. Just visit their website. What are the other options? So if you want PadLab, there's also PadLab. They have a testing center close to the airport. Hilland shared that he got tested by PadLab po when he was going back to the US. He got there. It was near Park and Fly. Got the result in 30 minutes. Come in early, a day before you fly para iwas ngarag dahil sobrang init. Bring ID or passport, your ticket if applicable, and pen. And pen. Yun lang guys. Drive-thru is also available. So that's it. PadLab. Another option. If you want to get tested with PadLab po, RT-PCR is 3,100. Antigen test is 960 pesos. There's also Medispa. Yan. 24 hours nila na RT-PCR test is 2,900. Their Safeguard antigen test, 650 pesos lang. But guys, anywhere, as long as DOH accredited testing laboratory, you can get tested there. Okay? You can take it one day before your flight or on the day of your flight, as long as you get the result. I would suggest one day before your flight. No, it gives you reassurance na I have what is needed already. Anyways, who are exempted from showing a negative test result? Children. Children who are 2 years old and under are exempted from showing a negative test result. So no need to get tested if you have a child who is 2 years old and under. And reminder that the 24 hours requirement is the same for vaccinated or not. It's the same, huh? Well, those who recently recovered from COVID. So it happens. You got positive result, nagka-COVID ka sa Philippines. Yes, you don't need to get tested again. You just have to show documentation of recovery. And it is 2 requirements, huh? It's not just one. First is you must show your positive result that was taken no more than 90 days before your flight. And then a second requirement is the letter from a healthcare provider stating that you are clear to travel, fit to travel, you are ready to go. Okay? It has to be 2. Positive test result alone is not enough. Or letter from a healthcare provider is not enough. It should be 2. For the certificate of fit to travel, it can either be the certificate issued by your local government when you got positive result and you isolated. For example, this one was issued in Cavite. It states here that Mr. and Mrs. Kenonos is physically fit to work or travel. There you go. While another option po is to get a medical certificate from your doctor stating that you are fit to travel, you have finished your isolation. It states here, physically and medically cleared to travel. This was secured by a kababayan who just got online checkup. So you don't even necessarily have to go physically to the doctor, no? That's an option for you. So again, I just want to emphasize, if you recently recovered from COVID, pwede yung LGU certificate, pwede din yung doctor certificate. While exempted. So guys, do you need to be vaccinated to go home to the US? No. You are exempted from the vaccination requirement. Since you are legal permanent residents and US citizens, you are exempted. So whether you are unvaccinated, you can still go home to the US. You are welcome to go home. While there are other requirements for passengers of PAL, don't forget to fill out the PAL passenger information form 24 hours before your flight. Attestation USCDC form, but don't worry, this will be distributed at the airport. A US state, county, or city health declaration form. For example, Los Angeles, they have a form, but you can fill this out as well upon arrival in LA. No biggie. And then there is comply with layover requirements. If you have a layover in another country, just know if there is any requirement. Be early at the airport, inaiya po, whether that's Cebu. Kasi po, there's a lot of inspections, especially for travelers to the US. You already know that bubuksan talaga yung bag nyo at may isa-scan. So don't bother locking your bags when going to the airport because you will have to open it again through inspection. Next is arrive at least 3 hours before your flight. Do not be that traveler who arrives an hour or 2 hours your flight. No. Arrive at least 3 hours, especially if you're traveling with children. Next is bring your own pen because there are forms to fill out at the airport, departure card, US attestation form, and you really don't want to be sharing pens with other people, especially during this Omicron surge. So these are the forms that will be handed out at the airport. USCDC attestation form, BI declaration form if you are a Filipino citizen, and then departure card. These will all be handed out at the airport. How about travel tax? Do you have to pay? No, you are exempted as long as you stay for less than 1 year in the Philippines. Exit clearance. If balikbayan privilege, you avail balikbayan privilege, no need. Okay, but if you are a foreigner, especially on 9A visa, and you stayed for more than 6 months in the country, you must get an immigration clearance certificate. If you stayed for less than 1 year here, then you can just simply pay this at the airport. But if you stayed for more than 1 year in the Philippines, you must get your ECC and pay it at the immigration office. The charge for the immigration exit clearance is around 1,200 pesos. How about travel pass? If you are holding, for example, SRRV visa or a economic zone visa, so visas that were issued by Philippine Immigration Act of 1940 or visas issued by DOJ, Bureau of Immigration, Investment Promotion Agencies, PEZA, CEZA, yan. You must get po a travel pass before leaving the Philippines. So who issued your visa, then they will be the one who will issue your travel pass. So for example, SRRV holders, retirees in the Philippines, you will get your travel pass from PRA. How about the no vax, no fly for domestic flights going to Manila? Reminder that the Philippines, Manila has a very strict protocol right now, no vax, no fly. If you're an adult who is unvaccinated, the exemptions are very limited to children under 18, those going home for procurement of essential goods. I'm not so sure, guys, if you will be exempted if you have a flight going to Manila, going home to the US. I would suggest you contact the airline. But I think it should be fine because you are going home naman and you are not Filipino naman. While for unvaccinated children 18 years old and below, you are exempted as long as you are accompanied by a fully vaccinated adult. But flight cancellations happen because Philippines has a limited travel cap. Most of the time, when the flight going to the Philippines is cancelled, the flight going leaving the Philippines is also cancelled. This is not the fault of your airlines. When you should know the option of your airlines, whether they have charges for rebooking. Well, what if you test positive a day before your flight? So you took the antigen test because your flight is tomorrow, but then you got a positive result. What are your options? Go home and isolate for 7 days if you're fully vaccinated, or 10 days if you're unvaccinated. That is if you're asymptomatic or mild. Then report to your LGU as well. If you want, you can get tested again, then get a negative test result. So it really depends, huh? While for Filipinos on tourist visas or short-term visas, these are the requirements. Your passport must be more than 6 months valid. You must have a valid US visa. You must have a negative COVID test result, or if you recently recovered from COVID, proof of recovery, a vaccination card or certificate. Reminder that if you are on tourist visa, non-immigrant in the US, kailangan po talaga vaccinated ka. Hindi ka makakapasok sa US kung hindi ka vaccinated. Tapos, hindi ka permanent resident doon. Then, confirmed round-trip tickets, requirement yan ng immigration, as well as travel and health insurance with COVID-19 coverage, requirement niyang immigration. Other things is itinerary, proof of ties to the Philippines. So, when the immigration asks you, what is your purpose of traveling to the US? What is your proof na you are going back to the Philippines? Ganun. For example, you're studying, or you have family here, or you have work, or you have business, ganun. Well, if you're vaccinated in the Philippines, you can either have your Vaxcert PH po, or BOQ yellow card. I heard some travelers used LGU vaccination card nga po. While these are the accepted vaccine brands in the US, majority are accepted that we use here in the country, except for Sputnik. I can't find Sputnik. J&J, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Sinopharm, Sinovac, Covovax, accepted po yan. While the exemption from the vaccination requirement for non-immigrants are children who are under 18 and persons who are medically unable to get vaccinated. But they must bring proof, certificate from their medical professional that they are indeed cannot be vaccinated. While for Filipinos going abroad, as fiancés or spouse or family members of foreign nationals, you must have your CFO certificate. You can apply this online. This takes time, so you should apply for this months before your trip. And that is really all, guys. If you are a legal permanent resident, US citizen, the most important thing is the negative test result. And for non-immigrants, yung mga naka-tourist, ito nga po, maraming requirements for you kasi nga US and Philippines has requirements po. Ito po. And this is all for this video po. If this video helped you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with any changes. Share this to anyone who will be traveling soon. I'll see you guys, and I'll see you with another travel update po. Stay safe and God bless. Bye!